Have you ever heard of the term abishika? In direct translation, this is a term that is used in esoteric Hindu and Buddhist practices. It's a Sanskrit term. Direct translation, it means pouring from the peak or pouring from the source. So what does this mean? In religious, spiritual practices, oftentimes this is done quite literally, where a priest, a master of ceremony, would pour this sacred liquid on top of a sacred object or on top of the crown of an individual as a way of almost baptizing the individual in the more Western Christian sense. However, in the mystical practices and the more esoteric roots of this lies in obtaining specific frequencies, obtaining specific attunements between the relationship of a master of the art of internal alchemy and his or her students. So what does this mean? If I followed the ground up route of meditation, I can take a plant and I'll meditate on the plant, and maybe after 2 to 3 weeks of meditation of a very specific practice, I could start feeling and seeing the vital aura of the plant. And maybe after a couple of months, I could connect with the astral body of the plant. And in a couple more months, I can connect with the mental body, or a couple more years rather. And perhaps after 10 to 20 years of deep, deep meditation, I can stumble my way into feeling the etheric field and the akashic field of the plant itself. So this is one way to do it, and there's nothing wrong with it. 99% of all meditative practices, because it's administered ad mass, this is what they teach. However, if you have the fortune of meeting a master that already has access to these frequencies, then there is a possibility for them to transmit that frequency into your own experience. So our body is antennas that can receive different frequencies like radio waves. In the previous practice, imagine you're completely blind and you have this radar, but there's nothing showing on the radar, and you're just kind of like feeling your way, and eventually, after 20 years of feeling everything, you end up, 10 kilometers over there, and you can find the akashic frequency. However, this abishika process is a master that basically gives you the GPS coordinate. Through this transmission, it's like, here, this is exactly where you need to go. And now in your radar, you're having, everything is kind of dark and hard to see, but then you have this blinking light. It's like, beep, beep, this is where you need to go. And perhaps in your first couple of times of reaching the akashic frequency, you stumble around, you make some mistakes, and it takes you a while to get there. But eventually, after going there time and time and time again, you get really efficient in this route, and this signal becomes your own, and you really own that GPS coordinate. So in the internal alchemy practice that we practice, we honor this process of abishika, right? So with all of the students that we have, we're setting up these GPS coordinates for our students to receive so that they can create rapid evolutionary states in their own consciousness and achieve that awakening and samadhi experience much faster than someone that do not have the attunement themselves. So why is this important? As it's apparent in our rapidly evolving era of our time, the way of the old is becoming antiquated, it's becoming irrelevant. And you're seeing this erosion of the religious orthodoxy, whether that's with the Catholic Church, with Christianity as a whole, whether that's with even Buddhist sects, and a lot of people are coming out tired of dogmatic principles, tired of things that they have to follow that people, thousands of years have created that's no longer relevant for the individual and for this time period today. So because of this, we mystics and people that have received these attunements, many of them have come to the understanding that because we're entering this new era, that it's time to allow this information to proliferate once again. And we are in a world now that the teaching of these sacred knowledge is no longer persecuted. So in the past, for hundreds and thousands of years, during the time of the Inquisition, during the time of the Communist Cultural Revolution, people died for practicing these inner school knowings. But today we're living in a very fortunate time that we can openly discuss these, and we can openly discuss ways of achieving these and transmitting these skills without having the fear of death and the penalty of it. And likewise, we're in a time where the spreading of this knowledge now is no longer just one-to-one, but we have this medium of online communication where we can reach hundreds, thousands, millions of people globally and achieve this state of collective consciousness expansion and the associated benefit with that. So with that said, that's a little bit about Abhiseka. If you have questions about the attunements, questions about this process, drop a comment below and we can have a discussion around it. Okay, so that's it for now. Take care.